name, they have a TI champion, but Complexity, every single LAN qualifier for NA, they've won it. They've always they qualified for Dota Pit, they qualified for Nanyang, they qualified here. So it's always been Complexity who take the spot to represent America after EG. I think they've consistently proven they're the second best team in America. Whether
I was trying to think of another team. You're like top two teams, like, huh, who would be 3 or 5?
Now we actually don't need to take a whole lot of time to get hyped for this. It actually sounds like we already have a draft for game number 1. It is going to be EG versus Complexity. Let's actually see how it's going to be breaking down here. And, you know, I was talking a bit with Scant coming into this. EG, a team that is notoriously off the map, off the radar for the majority of the game. That could be attributed to their, you know, love for Enigma. But, you know, is that a benefit to them? And how is that, you know, more interesting? I guess he said also that the other team that's also off
too late.
the radar,
Complexity, don't think it's a big, which is pretty unusual. We see a lot of teams first ban Enigma versus Secret versus EG, and they actually don't seem to care that much about it.
I think with a team like EG, they have two fairly distinct styles that we notice coming into this. Is either they play the we're gonna out-farm you, we'll play the ultra high ground game, and this is backed by having BKB breaking heroes or ones that can hold high ground pretty consistently, and they'll just out-farm you around the map. Or they'll have that style where they are assaulting you with everywhere, and just the two heroes that I think are important for them in that kind of strategy are like Clinks, Beastmaster. Like those are the heroes that I've seen them pick up when they do that.
Void.
Yeah, Void.
This is interesting opening for EG because it already says that one of these two heroes is either going to see something funky like a Beastmaster mid or a Nature's Prophet jungle.
Do you guys think there's a chance that RTZ will play the Prophet? Because I remember there was there's one game I remember that he played Prophet on safe lane.
PM support too.
On PPD, right?
Yeah. It would be fair.
You know, Swindles was talking about earlier how IO actually had one of the worst win rates kind of normalized against Nature's Prophet. He actually talked about this on this couch, and he doesn't...
Yeah, I remember asking him why, and he kind of, he seemed to...
Didn't he say Prophet loses to Wisp more?
No, it was the opposite.
It was the opposite?
Yeah. He said it had like, I don't know, 10% or whatever over what you would expect.
But did he say why?
He didn't say why. But he actually seemed to go by the Dota buff.
This was based on pub games.
Yeah, those are actually pretty good.
Oh, absolutely. I think as far as looking at what counters what on a basic sense, absolutely. It's not irrelevant information.
Yeah, but at the same time, how much does numbers truly say? You can't really use it as a firm reference
when it's
every
a hero
time.
that has the best win rate against it, like as compared to the average.
There's such a large sample size that it adds a lot of weight.
Yeah, but if it beats a certain hero 70%, let's say 70%.
This is Ben saying the stats mean something. Ben normally hates using numbers. I do.
I do.
Yeah, because in Dota the stats can only mean so much, you know. So
I think he's more saying that it's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
That you can't really ignore it.
Yeah, normally I'd be like, a few points, we'll go here and
this is like a few points. Okay.
I mean, it's so he's saying like it's big enough that it says something.
It's huge.
It's huge. Anyways, Evil Genius says this actually looks like it could be the bare bones of maybe a push strat that they like to run sometimes, although they don't run the Chen.
The classic EG is like Radiant side you want to push, Dire side you want to Roche.
Yeah, that's been their style for a very, very long time.
Every lineup that they run though has always been around Roche control. Every single time that we saw them play, even when we were casting them at like MLG for example, good Roshan fight, they'll take it because even if you get the Aegis, EG understands better than any other team is. It doesn't matter if they have the Aegis, it matters the positioning you enter the fight. If you're able to surround the team and kind of close in on them and not let them play the space game, EG's gonna always take that.
Winter Wyvern coming out, something that usually EG even favor picking up. Is this something that is going to be synergetic for Complexity, or does part of it almost feel like a deny grab? We know Winter Wyvern to be pretty damn good against a Wisp.
I don't think it's a deny grab at all. I think firstly it's pretty. People like to pick it against Beastmaster because the inner beast would actually turn on your teammate when you Winter's Curse.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's really good against push, like we saw Vici use versus Fnatic.
That's Splinter Blast.
Yeah,
Very good
Splinter
outspam.
Blast is godly.
And you can't like damage heroes during the Winter's Curse, but you can as a setup. So like as the Winter's Curse is about to end, that's when you can throw your Avalanche. Wouldn't be surprised to see Complexity transition into something that can kind of synergize with the Winter's Curse as well. I feel like this is like very much, I mean, Swindles, he had pages and pages of notes and drafts. I saw him this morning. He seemed confident. He had clear strategies and drafts he wanted to do for game 1, game 2, and I'm sure this is something that he's kind of anticipated picking
Do you think EG smiles at Complexity when they walk by in the elevator? No, he was like, Godblack, he does. QO, he does too. They all smile at me. I know we're gonna have a good game. But he never said anything about EG. I wonder if they smile.
I feel like we never see EG like around. I feel like they're almost like machines. Like they're up there, they're grinding their practice, they come down, they resupply, they eat, they refuel, and they go up and go back to the station.
They had a team interview or something. I was like, oh, EG's down here. They're in their jersey.
We are here to compete. We are EG. Lion gonna be grabbed up here. Like the PPD grab. Hefty burst, very good against the Wisp to kind of take him out.
Good versus the Embrace too. You want to have some sort of magical burst against that.
10 seconds remaining.
Doesn't Lion have like a 100% win rate or something ridiculous?
At this tournament?
5
Really?
seconds
I don't know.
remaining.
It's pretty high.
I
I was looking at the
I thought he
competitive
lost
predictions,
so
it was
many
like,
games. I thought he lost so many games because
Reserve
Those
time.
games where it looked like it was going to be losing.
Did he lose
and then
games?
like the game where Lanham played it and had a showing.
Yeah. Maybe it lost like one game yesterday, but I think like prior to yesterday, it won like 4 out of 4, 5 out of 5.
Is that just coincidence, or do you think Lion is turning to be that valuable of a grab?
I think it's really good, especially if
Evil
you.
geniuses
Yeah, it's that,
turn
and
to
if you
pick.
run a secondary greedy support, Lion can actually play your hard 5, and he can alternate to the 4 as well. And that was the other hero that
Complexities
goes along with it,
turn
right?
to
If they
bad.
play this aggressive style, it's like usually the Beastmaster and the Void and the Clinks.
yeah, because it sort of balance. His Lion's a bit weak in the lane, so you want to carry that. It's a little bit stronger. Don't need much help. Can zone the offlane.
EG only
10
have,
seconds
at least according to Datota, 3 games with Clinks coming into
Do you
this
think?
event with
Do you
a
think they'll
2-1.
still go
5
back for
seconds
Enigma against the Wisp? Is it still possible for their lineup?
If they do Beastmaster as a
Yeah,
Reserve
Beastmaster as a
time.
call, obviously.
yeah, well, the Clinks is Arteezy's hero typically.
Yeah, so
Beastmaster as a
So this,
4.
this puts Nature's well,
Universe should be playing the Nature's Prophet.
yeah,
And then the Beastmaster is a question mark.
yeah. The
I thought-
Beastmaster's question mark.
I thought it was going to be, when you see the 2 openers, I thought it was going to be Nature's Prophet off lane, Beastmaster support, Lion support, Clinks carry.
Yeah.
Definitely versatile. Give EG that. And I'm sure Swindle may have prepared a lot, but this is a very deep draft right now coming out from EG.
I guess if they go Enigma, then their cost might be a little too weak.
I
'cause
don't like
they don't
the
have enough
matchup
damage.
versus the Wisp 2 in the mid lane. I think
For Beastmaster, you mean?
yeah.
Evil
So.
geniuses
So it's
turn
better
to
for them
bad.
to have Beastmaster
Support.
plus Prophet dual lane possibly, because it's gonna be dual lanes.
And Complexity are banning some of those mid for starters.
Tide is really good against the Beastmaster, especially the playstyle too.
And
You can just
Kraken,
counter run at people.
Remaining.
it's like the Kraken as well. He can't really raw you, can't really burst you down.
5
Yeah.
That
seconds
easily.
remaining.
How do you guys feel about Invoker for EG? Bad against IO Tiny mid?
It's pretty weak though,
Reserve
but
time.
Fits like the overall strategy.
yeah, it
though.
fits their overall strategy with the raw, Sunstrike, and Prophet. But it seems like they do need some sort of extra firepower from the mid hero.
Timbersaw, man. 3 strength heroes.
What about...
Good versus coL Embrace.
Golden Brave.
But he's not very good like against the if you're putting him mid.
Yeah.
He's not really good versus IO Tiny lane.
I don't think they ran it ever mid either. It was almost always safe lane for Sumail, and then they gave Arteezy the farming mid back in that era. But that was when like SF was still really viable too.
I think I've seen some teams try to run Prophet mid versus.
How well do you think it will work? Like you just send the treants to
You send treants to
harass the IO all the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, you can also like have the treants on you too, so you don't get tossed back. I've seen it. I've seen it a few times.
Yeah, but don't you still die easily if he just run at you like with the tether?
coL is also thinking, by the way, it's going to be a Beastmaster support.
Yeah.
Ban out the Puck, Lina, and OD.
I'm very curious what Sumail is going to be.
It's very
put on.
difficult to tell, you know, what direction are EG gonna go here. There's so
10
many
seconds
possibilities.
What about for complexity, though?
They need
I
a
mean,
safe lane.
Seems pretty
5
cut and dry for
seconds
them.
remaining.
For complex, like, they can always do IO Tiny. It's just something that's been theory crafted a lot, which I'd still
Reserve
love to see
time.
from complexity. Is that core Jakiro?
Yeah, mid lane Jakiro was something a certain Swindle was boasting a bit about. Archon kind of gave their turn with it, but in the hands of complexity, we'll have to see. The team of brotherly love, if you will.
Bro always jokes about that. He said Complexity is just like the best team because they have 2 sets of brothers, so they can say whatever they want to each other, like yell and scream and can't do anything.
Oh, Phantom Lancer is going to be the choice here.
They have a very solid draft. Like right now they have D push, a good D push, good split push, and they have like good initiation to use the relocate. They have the curse, and you know to utilize the relocate. Like everything seems really balanced. Have everything. They have a bit of everything.
Oh, here we go.
Good
Look at
lanes
these
as well.
guys. Who else gets ramped up and ready like this?
Let's see what they pick, and then all laugh.
And then they all like cloud falls over their head like we didn't expect that.
5 seconds.
I've never seen a team do
remaining.
this.
It's kind of great to see. Like they're a true
have the
team.
most camaraderie of anyone else, and we know
Reserve
Swindle will be probably one of the most emotionally driven players in the game right now.
You know, he says like at TI5, he said his team they had like a chant and everything. He really feels teamwork aspect is necessary. He like stressed that to me. He said, "You really have to believe it's us against the world for something like this to
10
succeed."
seconds
And he believes it's
remaining.
not just about like the 5 guys. Like he builds like the whole like team support system around them. Like they have their chef here with them who like was cooking in their team house. They bring out like they have a whole support team.
Like look, he's doing the chanting.
Oh, they go with the Ember Spirit grab to counter the PL at the end. It looks like it will be the Sumail grab. So now that we see the 5-man spread from EG, let's quickly throw out some predictions and how you think it might go.
I think Complexity's draft looked really solid this game.
I really like Complexity's draft
I'm
as well.
favoring their draft.
And the Ember is a good counter to the PL, but I think the Ember is going to have a tough time against IO Tiny. It's just
Their lane is weak, like
Yeah.
a lot weaker than Complexity's lane.
So couch 2 is a dire couch. What do you guys think over here?
I'm with EG. I think they're gonna actually change the lanes up to something that's gonna be very favorable for them.
Clinks is just gonna go insane. I don't
Oh.
think they have enough individual lockdown for him. You have to commit the Ravage just to kill him, honestly.
Very appropriate. So we have a Radiant couch and a dire
5
couch here.
seconds remaining.
Should be some fireworks to lead out our first series of the day. Evil Geniuses versus Complexity. Game number 1. Let's go ahead and send it over to our casters now. Gentlemen, have some
Prepare
fun.
for battle.
Dakota, it's myself, Bodhi Pixel and Drastel, and we're here ready to bring you game 1 of EG versus Complexity. As they said on the panel, a lot of tensions between these two sides. There's a little drama. It's going to make the matchup that a bit more fun. Behind the scenes, there have been people talking up Complexity. I was talking to Bob the other day. He said, watch out for Complexity. They've got a chance. Of course, Chaos, one of the top 20 NA teams.
Yeah, I think this is definitely something to watch out for if you're EG, because like Winter was saying on the couch, I'm actually also fairly partial to Complexity's draft. I do feel like it offers you so much mobility during the mid game with the IO Tiny. Your team fight's fantastic. You have late game secured with the PL and the Tiny as well. So I don't know, it could go either way. The thing that I'm really curious about from EG's side is seeing how the support Beastmaster ends up working out. This is something that has been done a really long time ago, but with the introduction of Iron Talon, obviously it should be quite a bit better than it used to.
And in terms of just the overall draft, we're seeing the Wyvern, you know, used obviously the changes. Do you still think this hero has got a really good position in this current meta, especially against, I guess, lineups that have like your Nature's Prophet and the Beastmaster, where you know the push is going to come?
Pretty strong for sure. See if there's a fight going on here at the bottom rune. Looks like they're just gonna go ahead and Complexity walk away with both bounty runes, actually. Kind of surprising that they're able to get both that easily. So as far as the Winter Wyvern goes, I think that if you get a good Winter's Curse during the mid-late game, you can get a hero like even Ember killed, especially if you catch Arteezy with it, for example. Like Clinks is known for his monstrous single target damage output, and Ember doesn't typically build into items that give him survivability per se. It's all about the damage and like Blink Dagger for mobility. You don't really want to get caught, so I think that it can work. It's also a great way to give yourself extra bit of D-push. Can't really forget that Splinter Blast wasn't touched too much. It was pretty much just the ultimate that got nerfed really hard, or changed, I guess, if you want to call it that. So I do think that the lanes even are looking alright for Complexity here.
Do you see how the matchups do go? Bottom lane, Arteezy getting a bit of aggression from Z-Freak and Jesse. And be careful, Artur. Turn around, trade some hits back onto the Wyvern. But as a whole, as you said, in the laning stage, you feel that Complexity definitely have the potential to come out with a bit of an edge.
I think that the lanes are actually, like Tidehunter versus Furion, both of these heroes are more or less going to farm, but it's going to be very difficult to actually pressure the Tidehunter in the situation. And then obviously bottom, it's a 2v1, so Clinks is going to have a really hard time doing anything about it, and a roaming Beastmaster can't really relieve any pressure from either the mid or the bottom lane whatsoever. So if he's walking down there to try to help, I mean, he can put a borer on maybe the Winter Wyvern and they can throw out a couple of auto attacks, but as far as lane pressure goes, it's not going to be too extreme. In the mid matchup, you have Limp versus Handskin, and it feels like this is probably one lane where EG could potentially win, especially if the IO is not careful, like going for a rune. I could see him easily getting caught out by double disable. But can see a toss back here.
Yeah, Samael in a bit of trouble. Toss straight under the town. This could be your first blood. Limp and Hanskin chasing him down. Samael with the chains and the Verify keeping himself alive at 20 HP. He pops the south. The toss is going to be enough to burst him. Samael, he says, Roshan, take me! But no, the freak comes across the cliff, gets themselves first blood. Samael, he was looking for the plays, but wasn't quite able to get to Roshan in time.
He was definitely not expecting that toss back. It's something that's very hallmark of a tiny mid too. So I'm kind of surprised that Sumail let himself get caught out by that. Excellent rotation too from Z-Freak. As soon as he sees him running towards bottom, he just assumes that it's either going to be Roshan or he's going to be going for the rune, right? So he just making that standard movement ends up giving him the first blood. So good stuff.
Swindles, and at PPD eyes up Swindles. There's a bit of a stare off and they walk it away, but at the complexity, get that edge here. I'm interested to see what the Tiny goes for. In this kind of game, do you think we are going to see the Tiny go straight for the Blink, or do you imagine we see drums, Aghanim's from the mid-Tiny that we see sometimes?
You can kind of argue both, but I think it's more common to go for Blink Dagger when you don't have another hero who gives you initiation. So for example, yesterday we saw Tiny, and he was on a team with 2 Blink Dagger initiating heroes, and he was more of like the position 1. I think in this game, you're looking to Chessie to carry you on the PL, so you don't really need to go for like the drums, Aghanims. Having the Blink for relocates can secure you kills on a lot of members of EG. The Beastmaster and the Clinks with Death Pact are going to be the 2 most durable. The other ones are pretty easy to take out.
We're at the moment just picking up some levels here in the jungle. Double Boars in the Talon. 3 at the moment, so getting a decent amount of XP. CS-wise, I thought at the beginning we saw him having a bit of a tough time on the Clinks, but he's really caught back up. He's now 3rd on the board, and it is EG themselves just slightly on top in regards to the farm. Still very, very early days, and I think those 2 they'll be happy with that first bird onto Samael. Now the question is on top lane. Universe, he's given a bit of some on Swindles, trapped him up there. That's really doing a good job of controlling this lane. That he's 20 for 8 against the 12 for 0 at the Tide.
Yeah, he's starting to edge out Swindle a bit. The fact that he gets the phase boots, like this is the point in the lane where the Nature's Prophet can start to pull ahead because you hit so hard with just the phase boots that you can start to deal damage even through the Kraken Shell. And it doesn't look like Swindle got enough money to finish his Tranquil. So this puts him in a really awkward spot where he either has to parry regen or he's pretty much just going to let Universe free farm. And that looks to be what it's going to be for now.
First indeed zapping about there with those phase. Forcing Swindles back. He's 4-5 at the moment, still getting the XP on this Tide. The question is, I mean, when do you feel we're going to start to see the big rotations from either of the teams?
I think EG can move fairly early. When you have a Fury, and you always can expect that, like the Winter Wyvern could be a target you could go for if the Lion's there. PPD gets like a stun into a Hex, it could very easily be a kill. Looks like they're just going to be contesting the pull right now, but either team can make rotations. I think it's just more likely that Complexity will wait until the Tidehunter and the IO are 6. And at the very least, like Tiny wants a few levels into Avalanche and Toss as well. Those are just the innate skill set they need to actually start to play aggressive.
Chessie, he's really doing well there on this lane now. 26 for 5. Zafreak has been doing a great job in terms of keeping the Clinks at bay, so PL can still find an equal amount of farm against him. Lane Universe continues to come back in and down the Sprout. Swindles now going to have that level 6 online, so this may be the point where we see someone come up to the top lane, try to help out the Tide, get a kill onto Universe. The IO rotating in, leave alone against Samael. The mid matchup in terms of last hits, Samael on the 16 for 1, and of course Limp on the 31 for 11, so that IO did do a great job in terms of just allowing the Tiny to win that lane.
Yeah, it's a lane that's really hard to contest because Tiny being able to throw out tosses non-stop for CS, being thrown into the tower, we saw how effective that was against Sumail when he got first blooded. The lane itself is very difficult to just straight up fight, especially considering Lion isn't known as an extremely strong lane support. He's kind of that guy who can be annoying with mana drain. You can rotate with him and whatnot, but he's not really the greatest at zoning, and he's been making transitions from bottom lane to mid all game. Sumail's actually almost level 6 right now. And with that, it becomes significantly harder for Complexity to make any sort of rotation towards him. And you can see, like reflected by the CS as well, that EG are actually farming quite well. The fact that like Artor's got like 33 and 2 right now, and that was a dual lane pretty much. Like Z-Freak only rotated 1 time to bottom rune, and it doesn't really feel like the lane is supposed to him that much farm.
Mid lane, EG looking to kick something off Fear. He's just hit 6 in the jungle. He comes straight in with the raw onto Limp. Artor's there as well. They'll take down the Tiny and the force hands came back. I just wanted to mention just Fear, the fact that it was as if Complexity just forgotten about him. He was sat there in the jungle, got that great timing, hitting level 6 at 6 minutes in, and that allows him to just rotate in into the mid lane and come in with just an extremely effective gank that he wasn't able to do anything to stop.
It's a very greedy style of play, and it doesn't really feel like Complexity supports can punish it. Like most of the time when you see an IO in the laning phase, unless you're partnered with an extremely aggressive hero on the first couple of levels, you're not really going to find any kills, and Winter Wyvern's more or less the same. So Complexity run a static laning phase against a greedy jungler, and still aren't really getting the better of the lanes themselves. Like, look at how farmed right now Hesperian is. The Universe is 48 and 9.
It's incredible.
Like, how do you justify having this laning phase if you're not actually pulling out ahead? I think the fact that EG are able to get here such a high level of farm during the early game, like he's just going straight Vlads, I think just very quickly this is going to turn into a push, and they're going to have to worry about like 5-man Dota at a very early state. Now granted they have Tidehunter, but Z-Freak is going to be level 6 in due time as well.
Tide, he could be in trouble. Here we go, they're ready to make the breakthrough. RTZ coming in with the clicks. You've got Fear as well, and I think Primal Roar's just about to be available, and there it is. It's come off cooldown, he's going to use it, wants to secure themselves the kill there, and they will find it. Limp coming in with a combo, onto Fear, can he bring him down? Oh, not quite, Fear will survive. RTZ just picking off the R in the back lines. It's a double kill for Klinks. Freak comes in, but EG looks to get away with this one. Fear, he's going to try and juke this out. Limp coming into the tree line. Oh, Fear, oh, he's juked him. Fear. He's still gonna die though. He's still gonna die. Limp comes across with the avalanche. Here, unfortunately, could not get himself out of that. Well, at the same time, Samael. Did he just pick up PO whilst that was all going on? He did indeed. So Samael getting himself a kill onto Chessie. That's gonna bring it to 4 for 2. So even though they lose Fear, I think EG will be very happy with that whole sequence of events.
Especially considering the fact that during this time, PPD has secured himself level 6. So he's got Finger available, which means you can still potentially burst the Tide inside of a Roar with that kind of damage. And Winter was talking about it on the panel as well prior to the game starting. It's just having the capability of killing a hero through Cold Embrace when Winter Wyvern wants to go for a defensive play. Having that nice split magical and physical damage is going to be really key in making sure that they can take these fights. But we're going to have a quick pause. State of the game, I still feel as though EG are pretty far ahead just because of the nature of their lineup and how greedy it really is. But Complexity still have a couple of chances to get back here. Once Hanskin 6, once Z-Freak hits level 6, their team fight is going to be fully online. So I would expect that to be the point where they start to make their move. And as of right now, they've only lost one tier 1 tower, so they still have plenty of time left to go.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Oh god! He had help. Yeah.
Nature's Wrath. He says, "Oh, so I'm not letting you have that."
That damage is completely insane. Like IO has extremely low base armor. It's actually not even 1 full armor point. It's 0.9. And against the Klings, who pretty much hits for nothing but physical damage, hurts a lot when you don't have anything around to help you out. So nice kill here. Rotation towards mid. EG looking to potentially dive.
Dire's top tower.
Double alive here with the cold embrace, but they're going to be a matter of time before he closes in for more. They'll jump in onto Chessie, getting caught out by the stun. Samael jumping forward with the remnant. That's going to be 2 now, but they do lose Artor here. Limp in a bit of trouble as well here on the side of Complexity, but he's got the backup of Io. Now Fear, he's got to be the one on retreat. Swindles gets the gush out. They'll get the toss for him. Fear will go down, so Complexity find 2 in return. In the trade even. Maybe we'll see if they can chase for more. Samael, PPD, they're on the way out. Drums will be popped. Complexity, looks like they won't quite be able to catch him here. They do have to blink up on Limp if he wants to jump in onto PPD, and he will. Jump straight in onto the line with the combo. PPD, PP dead. Samael will pick up a Hanskin. Yeah, another 1-for-1. A couple of supports dropping in return for each other. Trade staying even there on that one.
This is the stage where Complexity are going to start to have a bit of momentum. They still haven't really committed a Ravage to a team fight, and I think in some ways that's kind of a good thing, because now they can pressure the tier 1 into the safe lane and make EG react to them. Looks like they're going to go for the trade. That tower was quite low, so Universe just makes his way back towards middle lane, secures that. And with the Blink Dagger on Limp, this is the stage in a game where like 4 out of 5 members of EG pretty much instantly die to that combo, and that is a very scary thing to think about.
Now, he's got himself an Invis rune, and this could be big. Arteezy's there as well, but Complexity, they're coming in full force. Straight away with the combo, Arteezy going low, and he's going to get taken down. It's a mega kill streak for Lim. Sumail going forward with the Remnants. He's looking for Hanskin, but Hanskin turns across him. He's just basing him in. Complexity, they're going for Sumail. They're going to find it. He's out of mana and out of luck. He throws a Remnant out, but he can't jump to it. He's got 5 stick charges, but it doesn't matter because Sumail is down. Double kill for Limp. And Limp's Tiny at the moment is getting out of hand and out of control.
Now the tempo of this game has sped up significantly, and as we mentioned, it's pretty much just because of the fact that all the ultimates are now online for Complexity. The irony is they win that team fight pretty handedly with the help of Limp, obviously that Blink Dagger proving to be an amazing pickup in the situation. Not having to use a single ultimate on this type of lineup and being able to apply so much pressure, they're getting the safe lane tier 1 tower. Like, this is the stage in the game where EG have to be very cautious about how they're going to engage, making sure they're using Fear's Beastmaster Hawks for vision, because if they get jumped continually like this, Complexity have that kind of lineup that can steamroll very easily.
Limp now, 1200 gold on top of the point booster. You expect a pretty good timing on the Aghanims if momentum does continue, as you say, that the Complexity certainly have at the moment. These team fights and Limp's initiations. And look at this, about how's Sumail doing in terms of items. He's got 1400, so I guess he's still trying to go for that boosted travel first. It's certainly not going to be at the timing that he may have hoped for.
Oh, smoked right under the ward here. Yeah. Sumail's going to have a pretty good idea this is coming. Mech actually picked up here in Universe after the drums too. So they know the 5-man is coming, and they are equipping themselves to deal with it accordingly.
As you said, it's unlikely coL will find anything here. Might give them the tip off though, they'll realise that they did do it under the ward, and I see that one being taken down. And Windows, a few hundred away from his own mechanism, which said in response to the fact that Universe has this, and Universe obviously still playing a very good game at the moment, second highest on the net worth board. I mean 6.3k coming up on this guy. Universe he's certainly playing his heart out here for EG.
Yeah, he's an absolute beast. In the laning phase, he started to pull ahead of Swindle fairly early. I think that lane's pretty volatile. Oh, Swindle.
He's a dead man. Here we come. EG jumping in. He'll get the Ravage out, and now Complexity looking for some kind of turnaround. Limp and Z-Freak turning up to the fight. Oh, Universe with the Sprout. The raw follow from Fear. The cold embrace for Z-Freak, keeping Limp safe. Arteezy tried to take down the Wiper, but didn't quite have the damage. Limp jumps forward, misses the avalanche, but Jesse will get up the Spirit Lance. The toss onto Artur. The right there, they're trying to bring it down. Arteezy will be able to find the kill on Star with the help of the Nature's Prophet. It's a 2-for-1 at this point. Now EG, they've just got to get the rest of them out of there, and they will do. 2-for-1. EG do find the kills, but they lose Arteezy for it.
That was a really nice play from Z-Freak. As soon as they see that the fact that the roar comes out, he pops the cold embrace, saves the Tiny's life. I think there was actually a little bit of miscoordination there at the start for Complexity, because as soon as they go in, there was an opportunity to jump on Artur, but the Tiny didn't actually go for the stun and the combo, and I think it would have potentially taken him out very quickly. And
top lane, Universe, he teleports in, they're looking for the pickup onto Z-Freak. There is going to be a relocate though. He gets on the heck of the avalanche, was already cast, and now he's got to run. Limps checks him down, tosses forward to Hanskin, bringing PP down with the balls, and Universe will TP out in time. Limp unfortunately didn't have the skills back off cooldown to take it, but they get themselves the lion kill, and Limp gets a bit of space to continue the farm up top.
Yeah, he's getting quite scary at this stage. He's almost got Aghanims completed, only like 800 away. I mean, this is Sumail just finishing bots at 14 minutes. You consider how much more net worth the Tiny has right now than the Ember. It's kind of scary. Because it's still going to be a long time before he's really going to get himself off the ground. And in that time, like everyone in Complexity, they're utilizing the map very well. There's Ancient Stack being farmed here by Swindle. Everyone's pretty much getting some semblance of farm while the team fights aren't going down. The only person who's kind of suffering right now is Jesse. He's the guy that we're looking at and saying, all right, he might need a little bit of room. He's only got treads right now, but the fact that Limp is just having a phenomenal match, that could be enough to carry them into the game and buy that time that Jesse desperately needs at this point.
500 gold away from the completed Aghanims here on the Tiny. That's it. So we're already seeing how much the combo's doing. With that, he should be able to clear out pretty much anyone on the map that he gets the jump in on the combo off on. Bottom lane. Eyes are on Jesse. PPD maybe seeing if he can get into position. Jesse keeps it cool, plays it smart. He's not going to hang around, and in fact, he does have the rest of Complexity coming around behind him, so they might like to try and set something up here on this bottom lane.
Fighting into the 5-mana Complexity is so scary, though. Like, you kind of have to put yourself in a situation where you know you're going to get a pick before the real fight kicks off. Because in skirmishes, EG's team is great. They have good mobility, high single target damage, good disable, but in 5 versus 5, they're playing into Ravage, they're playing into Winter's Curse. A tiny initiation too can be pretty devastating if he hits more than one target with the Avatos. There's just so many factors, and like vision is going to be crucial, especially fighting into this, which is why I kind of like the Beastmaster pick here from EG. We talked about the greed of it, and how I made that one successful rotation onto middle lane, but other than that, it feels like it hasn't really been able to do a lot outside of just scout, which is a really big deal for sure, like not taking anything away from the vision that you can give. But it seems like there's really only 1 or 2 good roar targets, and either one of them can just be cold embraced.
There we have it now. 16 minutes in, Blink, Treads, Aghanim's done on your Tiny.
He is so farmed.
Just going to be incredibly scary. On top of that as well, you Tranquils up on Io, so a little bit of extra regen to help out the Tiny if he can keep himself nicely behind back of the fight. Universe, what was he doing? He's building onto his Ags, wasn't he? So 1700 away from the Aghanims. Universe will be able to keep the pressure on globally and keep the lanes pushed in. Question is, the later this game goes, whose draft do you favour? I guess Complexity have got the beef with the Tiny and the PL, but EG, the Emperor and the Nature's Prophet and the Clinks, they've got the route potential, but PPD, no mercy for the man there as Complexity jumps straight in. Fear wants to be a bit careful about hanging around as well. But yeah, draft-wise, how do you favour it if it does go late?
It's a bit tricky. I think that Complexity might have a slight advantage because I always like teams with Tiny IO. Yeah. That seems to be...
Because your racks can just...
Yeah, at any stage, any point in the game, you can just say, oh, okay, well, we're going to relocate backdoor, and we don't push out one lane, and all of a sudden our base is exposed. Granted, EG probably have 2 of the best heroes at dealing with rats, having Fury in themselves and also Ember, who can make it from top to bottom lane in a couple of seconds and then just go right back. So they do have the tools to deal with it. I just have a tendency to favor the team that has a lot of options, and I think that EG in the 5 versus 5 department don't quite match up as well, and if they do fight 5 versus 5, their coordination just has to be on another level. Complexity have just mass AoE team fight and an insane amount of burst damage, which is quite a bit easier to execute.
And in terms of 5v5, do you think this game you would rather favour to see Swindles pick up the Greaves before the Blink on the Tyranitar? Because they've already got the initiation from the Tiny.
I mean, having a Blink follow-up is always good. You could make the argument that first Blink Dagger that you buy is really good on the team, and then the second Blink Dagger is even better because you can get the kill faster. And say that the follow-up is always going to be there and on point. So I think Blink is definitely still a choice for him.
Oh, it's easy. Doesn't want to hang around here. Limp and Hanskin coming around the corner. Mail is in the neighbourhood, and so Mail, he's picking up the farm, 2k on top of the boosted travel. EG, they've got their eyes on top Arteezy, hoping that Hanskin comes away from the town. Hanskin may have just come back a little bit too far. 1-2, bring him low, they'll get the slight in Samel coming through, but Zifrit now, with a return, and Samel's just going to get himself out of there. Complexity, they can try and catch anyone from the side of EG on this way out, but EG, they smoke up and they run. Boosted movement speed, they'll be out of there, and we'll be able to avoid Complexity counter initiating.
And very uncharacteristic there, Samel actually missed his combo. He didn't hit the Searing Chains on the IO, so as soon as he realizes that, he decides, we probably can't go for this kill anymore. Just gonna go ahead and bail. Not sure if the fight would have favored them either way, because there was a big reaction coming in Complexity, so it might have been a blessing in disguise that they didn't actually end up taking that engagement in the first place. But here come coL. They have their Aghanim's Tiny. Oh, what a dodge.
Jukes it out. Right away, the reaction's there. And worth knowing as well, so as you kind of said, that you would like to see Swindles Ducks go for the blinks. They've got the double blink now, coL.
It's just one of those things that Untied, it's very hard to justify skipping it when you already have your teamfight support items, like having your Arcanes, having your mech finished. I do think that a lot of the time Greaves can be good, but normally it's in situations where you're pushing the enemy or you're like slow sieging. Any time where you know that they're going to be coming to you is when Greaves is a really good choice, on Tide specifically. But when you want to make sure that you can take a team fight on your own terms, the Blink Dagger initiation is something that just can't be underestimated.
First with this Ag's eyes are really going to be on this Nature's Prophet to see just how well he can hold the momentum of the game, and so far, Universe, he's been showing us that he can do that. Yeah, Complexity, they've been unable to get a push into a tier 2 yet. In terms of just towers going down, it is favouring the side of EG. And with this Nature's Prophet on top of the Ags, do you think we are going to see just the Ags into Octarine or anything else that Universe will contemplate?
I think the Ags Octarine is the most common pairing that we see. I don't know if he wants to go back for something like a Hex for a little bit more disable, or if he wants to go for a right-click split-push oriented build that's not based around just the ultimate. Because it feels like at some point, EG will have to take a team fight. I don't think you can rat this team to death. The mobility of IO Tiny is just a little bit too much, and especially since eventually Chessie's going to get bots too. We see a smoke here. It's the entirety of the Complexity lineup, and they're just going to be going straight into Roshan. This is a very nice move. EG have no idea that this is going on. And I think this is pretty much just tower.
It doesn't look like they can get this.
It might be tower for Roche, but they also might kill it fast enough to react to the top tower. We'll see though. It's not moving that fast.
Yeah, they've got the relocate. They don't have a fort though, so yeah, with RTC chipping away at it, they will lose the tier 2, but I think Complexity will be happy with that one. They get the Roshan. EG are going to continue to push up the top and start to get the pressure in on the mid. That's going to be Aegis onto Limp's Tiny. And now they'll TP back. The question is, can they actually fight off the back of it? It's just going to be Chessie here at the moment, so they don't have the catch to hold EG in place. And the rest of Complexity returns to the base, and that will stop EG getting the push on. Now after that Roshan, Tiny's 1800 gold, and so he's picked up the Yasha now. Tifflin.
I don't know if he's going to go full Manta or if he's going to go back for like AC or something. I typically have I have this thing where I don't like buying Manta against Ember, because sometimes when you Manta, you eat a Sleight of Fist and it can just increase the damage that you take rather than give you actual survivability. But you could also make the argument that being able to Manta out of stuff like Searing Chains, as long as you time it properly, could be good. And plus, I think it's really nice for the late game when you're sieging the base, because Tiny is almost all base damage, so your illusions actually hit quite hard.
What do you think we're going to see coming out next on the PL for coL?
He's saving a bit of money. I wonder if he's just going to go for the Yasha build, or does anyone on the team? I don't think anyone has a Vlad's, right? I don't know if he wants to play like the hard position 1, considering how good of a game Limp is actually having. Tiny is one of those heroes where even if you have a Blink Dagger in your inventory, you're still like pretty strong as a 6 slot. Not the strongest, but definitely up there. And in this type of game, I think it would work out pretty okay. But we'll see soon. He might go Diffusal. He might go Yasha. Those are probably the 2 highest priority items he's thinking of right now.
Swindles just wandering towards the top with that Invis rune. It was of course spotted out by EG. There was a treant on him when he picked him up. So it's unlikely that EG will overstep the mark here on this top lane. Bottom lane, PD kind of coming out on his own. If he gets spotted by Limp, hiding in the trees at the moment.
Oh god. Spirits!
Oh! Trees! Get your balls
They didn't
out.
see him! Oh my
PPD.
god. The amount of panic, and I'm pretty sure he actually canceled an auto or 2 there. That was terrifying. Tower's gonna be secured here by Artor, and looks like they're just gonna go for a 1-for-1 trade as offlane. Tier 1 for EG is probably gonna be jumping here too. I don't see EG fighting 5 versus 5. They're gonna try to abuse the Beastmaster for Hawk Vision. Okay.
Samael.
He's fine.
He's alright.
I mean, the best thing they can hope to do is like burst into Tidehunter Ravage. Like that's probably the best way to kill him. But you can't deal damage in Curse anymore if you initiate with it. Like if you don't catch anyone else on EG, it's just a stun. Which means that you have to overlap the Ravage at the right time to make sure that you can actually deal damage as a follow-up. So it's quite easy for him to play aggressive, as long as he knows the Tiny isn't around.
See Samael is kind of closer to some of the members of coL, but like, he's feeling pretty confident in terms of zip-zapping around some of these heroes on the side of Complexity. You've got the Diffusal picked up by the PL now, so be able to see the Phantom Lancer kicking out a little bit more in these fights. Swindles and Limp. They should try and find something. They've still got timing on that Aegis here for the Tiny, so see if Complexity are able to use that to try and go for some more objectives. Limp just starts to begin to clear out the middle lane. Hansken, he's got the full army here being sent onto him by Fear. Limp jumping up, just seeing if he can find the Beastmaster himself on the back of it. He'll clear up the army, looking for a bit of free gold. And in fact, well, he might find a bit of that as he jumps onto Fear. Now with the Manta, now the gush from Swindles. Fear has been taken down. Coming a little bit close to the fire, and Limp will punish that.
That was a really nice Manta, actually. He Manta'd mid-roar animation, which pretty much killed Fear. If he gets the roar off, maybe he dies anyway, but if he doesn't get the roar, he's definitely dead. Like, there's no way that he walks away from that. So Complexity, still with the second life here on Limp, just gonna be sieging the tier 2. There is some rack going on.
Moment in the middle, so they are gonna have to back. He was pushing down the bottom. Universe was just chilling up the top lane, getting the pressure in there, going, guys, just, I've got this, just keep it cool, Samael. Oh, that's not cool enough, Universe says, and Samael running out in time.
They can actually fight this.
Universe is like, come on guys, let's do this, let's go in. Go for a bit of fun. Arteezy's there as well, but he has been dusted.
Oh, no.
He'll have to put the BKB there, and he'll have to run. Arteezy not quite. Getting himself in a position where he can stand to fight Limp. Oh, he jumps in, gets the avalanche onto Samael. PPT comes forward. Stun onto Limp, holding back the tiny, but Chessie moving forward here with the doppelganger. PPD trying to suck the illusions off, but Limp, he's going to almost certainly jump back in at the same time. There's a roar onto Swindles. They're holding the tide back so he couldn't get in with the Blink Ravage. PPD looks to still die though. Limp will jump forward with the doppel and himself kill. So godlike now for Limp. This is looking decent for Complexity. They've turned up this morning against EG, a team that a lot of people seeded as the best in this tournament.
I feel like EG's lineup, it was a little bit greedy during the beginning. They didn't get punished for it that much, but City's lineup just has such good team fight. Their split push is also good because they have the Aghanims, the Blink, and the Tiny. Io's relocate gives them insane mobility. This is the kind of lineup where a Fury in the mid-late game can't really do that much unless you're finding kills prior to him going for the split push. Like, even though they were cutting the creep wave, they were pushing in the top lane at the same time. Black City take a little bit of damage on the tier 3 top, and that's about it. So it doesn't really feel like Universe has a ton of options here unless he's going to team fight. So I'm not sure what his next item is going to be. He's sitting on 3,500 gold right now. If he goes for the Octarine, I don't think his right click is scary enough. Like, if he wants to go to a team fight and try to contribute and kill the PL or the Tiny, I think he needs to make a right click item.
So he's really stockpiling that gold. It's just profit. Decisions are going to have to be made. Top lane, we might see something kick off. We're going to see Universe coming in, getting himself into position. Hansken pops the Ghost Scepter. Arteezy is there as well, and more people coming in to back this one off. But Hansken gets a lovely tether straight across to Limb. He's continued to run the change. They're not going to latch on the Hansken. It might not matter though, because Arteezy has got the right clicks and they'll burst him down. Again, Universe says, I'm securing that one. Takes down the Io there with the Nature's Wrath. Now we'll see if EG want to try and apply a bit more pressure. Try and look to do some more damage to this tier 3. They're losing the eye at the moment on Complexity, but it's quite a huge factor in terms of Limp being able to get in front line. It's going to force the forts out at least. And okay, just popping the ult there onto Arteezy at the same time. PPD with a Ravage from the side. The finger onto the freak, the chains and the side of fish brings the freak down low. He'll corner breaks himself. There's a roar to Limp. EG continues to fight this one up and they'll take down the Tiny. There's a buyback from Hansken, but he couldn't keep Limp alive. Now EG, they're keeping it cool on the sideline. Swindles hasn't got the mana. Walking in with 34. He's got Ravage, but he's got nothing to cast him with. Samael might still go down though. Complexity, they get the kill onto the Ember Spirit. Now the rest of EG will get themselves out of there. A little bit of a mess. They're losing the Ember Spirit, not something that I'm sure was part of the plan for EG, but it did cost the buyback of 2 on Complexity. If they find Universe as well, that buyback is certainly going to be worth it. Limp moving in, Hansken, allowing them to chase down. PPD gets the stun off. PPD trying to take down the... Oh!
He had Hex too, man.
Relocate just in time.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Oh, jeez. That was some close stuff.
That was perfect timing, actually. I want to talk a little bit about that team fight and top and what actually went down. So Z-Freak opens up, he throws out the Winter's Curse. I think he just went on the target that he knew that he could get to. Just wanted to disable and make sure that there was going to be some kind of follow-up. Problem with the fight for Complexity was PPD blinks in, it's a stun on 2, stops Limp from his blink initiation, which also allows the Beastmaster to completely mana burst Swindle. Notice how there was no Ravage during that last team fight. He got roared, he got the book put on him, and he was out of mana. That's also what Fear did during the last engagement when they were mid. He's not really prioritizing roaring targets deal damage as much as he is trying to just control the team fight and stop Swindle from being able to use his ultimate. So really the problem that Complexity were having there is they didn't have follow-up for their initiation at all. And because they use the curse on a hero who does the most damage, that pretty much guarantees that nobody inside of that Winter's Curse is going to die. Because Sumail, even though he right-clicks kind of hard, most of it comes from the Sleight of Fist. So.
I want to talk about Sumail as well with this build. So yeah. He has gone for the Maelstrom after the Battle Fury. Just picked up after that last fight before he died. I know it was a bit of a kind of let's spend the money. But talk to me about why you don't opt for the Maelstrom this game rather than something a bit more standard like the Crystallis.
It is something that you can use against PL. And Battle Fury is going to give you something very similar, but it also costs a lot more. I would also say that in a game that is most likely going to devolve into split pushing, building a Mjolnir can be fantastic for just putting it on a creep, because you have such high mobility, right? And you have a bottle, so you're always going to have mana to put the Mjolnir on either the Nature's Prophet trees. You can put it on Artor during a team fight if he's hitting focus. It offers a lot of utility and a lot of attack speed. The other thing too is Ember typically doesn't build attack speed items, and that makes him a pretty subpar tower pusher until like the ultra late game when you know you're talking like rapier territory. So it's a little bit unorthodox. We don't see it too much, but it's definitely not a bad item.
Top lane, EG getting themselves back into position to push. Lord's on his desk, so they're going to be able to make short work of this tier 3. They're going in and they're going to take it down. That's going to be the top racks exposed. Complexity, they do have all the tools at their disposal to defend this. They've still got 3 members on the bottom lane eyeing up the tier 2. And they'll start to bring people back. Same time, it looks like EG will hold off for a bit. Samel's gone down here. He's eyeing up Swindle. Swindle's will get the blink off. Sleight of Fist was cool down there, so Samel couldn't quite get the initial jump in, but he's going to Remnant 4 for this one. He wants to commit for the Swindle's kill. Of course, going to mean he doesn't have a Remnant top. Be able to join any push from EG, and EG are going to hold back. You can see Universe, he's eyeing this up, he's trying to get himself in position for the perfect one, and there it is. Comes in with the teleport, a finger cuts through, there's a Ravage, and Lim, he's looking for the turnaround, and he's taken down 2! Lim's coming just in time, Universe trapped in the trees, he's going to almost certainly go down as well. Complexity, turn that one right on his head.
Yeah, they lose top for it though. They're gonna need to get more kills here. Do they have any detection? No one's carrying dust. Oh, it's on cooldown, okay. It's gonna already use this dust, so in the end, it ends up being a Rax trade for a couple of heroes. I still think EG are probably happy with that.
Yeah.
But Roshan's up, which means that the trade is probably going to end up being Complexity to get Roshan, unless Fear and Artor can manage to make something happen here in the pit. But I think it's very difficult. Winter's Curse is up. I mean, they're not gonna have Ravage, but it shouldn't really be necessary to take this. Even with the DD, I mean, that makes it quite easy.
DD, AC, it's going down at a rate.
Yeah. It's gonna die really fast. So, Complexity's still in it. Losing 1 Rax with the hero composition they have good split push, good wave clear, everything about their lineup is fairly well balanced. So I don't think they're gonna be too torn up over that particular trade. They did get high priority kills, so losing the Rax is kind of a bummer, killing Fury and killing the Ember Spirit died too, right?
Yep, it was for PPD, 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that, of course, that was a mega kill streak as well, so a nice bit of money going to Tiny as he killed Universe. Universe yet to die this game until that point.
It looks like it will be the Hex on Universe. It's kind of like the hybrid between control and right-click damage. Obviously, it has the decent amount of N35, and you get the 10 attack speed from the agility, so it's a really nice item if you want to try to go for pick or 5 versus 5. It's a very all-around choice, which I like quite a bit. But we're starting to get to that stage in the game where EG's base killing potential is insane. Like having the Necrobook 3, max level Inner Beast, Desolator on Artor, plus that level 3 Death Pact. If Complexity... Well, are they going to take this?
Eyes on Limp and Universe. As you said, he's picked that side. They get onto Limp. Limp trying to duke it out so he has a chance to link away. In fact, he's going to jump straight in. He has a toss onto 2, but the man comes out the raw onto Limp's the mail turn up as well. And they'll take down Tiny. He has got the Aegis, he's going to be there for round 2. Io still duking out in the tree line. The Sleight of Fist will catch him on the tip of Swindle. Coming in with a Shiva's Guard here. Throws the gush out to BBD. Limp, they'll take down Universe. And now they're going to try and continue to fight for more Complexity. Samel popping out the Sleight of Fist, but it's not enough. He melts as a buyback from Universe. TZ Pons to BKB falling low, trying to get himself out of the sidelines. The Illusion's still following him here. Z3's going to continue to chase him. Universe, he's brought back from the Ravage, straight to the face of the Fury, and he's down for 80 seconds. A dieback from Universe. PPD gets the blink off just in time. Lim, he's there. He's on point. On top of PPD. Lion's dead as well. Triple kill for Chessie. There's a bit of pressure going on the mid lane, but Complexity taking that team fight with absolute force.
Man, there were so many good plays from both sides there. At the start of the fight, Universe drops the Sprout to scout the trees, just assuming that either he's going to spot out the real Tiny, or obviously the Wisp is going to be there, because there's never a Tiny without an Io. That's just how the lineup is played, right? So he sees that he's casting Relocate. PPD blinks in, stops the Relocate mid-cast, which ends up taking the Aegis away. And on top of that, Swindle goes into the team fight without Ravage, and as soon as the Nature's Prophet TP's back in, Ravage comes off cooldown. So they were actually maybe under the assumption that there was no Ravage up, because you would imagine he would use it sooner, but now Complexity, 5-man Dota down top lane.
And this is the thing, you've got a Tiny, you're going to destroy a lane of Rex in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, the base is actually just going to die.
He says, I've had enough of you, Winter Wyvern. They'll take down 1, but Fear's going to pay with his life. And that is a 1-4, and that's Gem on the deck. Gem's left, right, and center. There's gems in every window of the game at the moment. PPD will come in with a cheeky stun, blinks out. The slide of fist spam being used now. Arteezy possibly going to be trying to fight, but Limp, a few snaps to the back, and Arteezy's got to get himself out of there. So Mail jumps forward onto Chessie. Now he has to remnant back out.
They saved the rats though.
Oh, Chessie. Oh, Universe. When they're just at the time that it's needed, he comes in with a big plays like that. He does take down the PL. The rest of Complexity will get out, but as you said, the damage was already done there on the top lane.
Well, they got the tier 3, but they saved the racks. That's the biggest thing. As soon as they saw Arteezy, they probably just were under the assumption that, oh man, if we kill him, we can just end the game. Like, if they kill him, he barely had enough money for buyback after the team fight.
He's going to be alright at the time being Swindles. He doesn't have a Ravage, but there is an avalanche. It's a Mail. He gets caught out. Can they take that freaking out? The damage is too much. 70 seconds there on this Mail. That's not great for EG. They are going to have the rest of the team up to bide the time, and they should be able to hold on for 60 seconds, but they do not want to be giving away kills like that at this time of the game.
Yeah, he definitely stayed way too long. Like, in this type of game, when you see the entire enemy team go back, you know they're playing with multiple Blink heroes at this point. Like, obviously they don't know Z3 has Blink yet, but he did buy it, and he'll eventually walk past the ward. Artur is actually going to spot him out here mid, but I don't know if he wants to go. But that was just over-aggression. But
let's see how much they can do. They've still got a window of 35 seconds. No Ember Spirit and Complexity. They want to go in hard, straight down the middle. They're onto the tier 3 limp. A couple of snaps, that tower's gone. 25 seconds. It's a good opening for Complexity. They're trying to do as much damage as they can. PvD coming out with the stun. Chessie gets himself in, forcing the line back. There's a Hex onto Limp, but he really doesn't kill on the back line. Arteezy's coming, but the sentry's down. He's caught out by the avalanche, and Arteezy's dead. He has got buyback available here on the Cleeks. Emma's going to be back up in less than 10 seconds, but they may just lose the mid-racks. Complexity coming in, and they're coming in hard. They'll get the full set of racks in the mid lane. Arteezy's going to need to buy back, and he will. He comes back in with the Ember Spirit. What can they do to stop this? Complexity still sticking around here, looking for the second set of racks. The stun from PvD catching out Limp, but here we go with the Winter's Curse of the Universe. Arteezy's killing Uni, and now there's the Ravage. Universe is down, no buyback available here. The Nature's Prophet surveil with the slide of fish there with the raw onto Swindles. But Swindles already got the Ravage off the Cold Bridge, keeping him alive. Fear being chased out by Chessie. There's 3 dead. There'll be a buyback from Fear, but Universe and PvD can't get themselves back into the fight. They'll lose a full set of ranks on the top lane. The slide of fist spam from Samael, just not enough to hold back Complexity. And this is looking rockier and rockier here for EG, Andy.
like we mentioned, the later the game goes, the harder it's going to be to really fight 5 versus 5 against Complexity's lineup. The Ravage was devastating during that engagement. There was already buybacks committed from the side of EG. They just didn't have the damage. That's really the biggest issue. Like, how is a Clinks going to stand there and auto-attack a Tiny with a full assault cuirass, Manta-style Aghanims? Like, it's in your face. You have to run. You can't just stand there. And the other issue is, again, the lockdown is kind of becoming a bit of an issue for EG. They only have 2 forms of disable outside of the Hex, and that's Fear's Roar, which is going to get Cold Embrace every single time. So they have to, like, bait out a Cold Embrace for Arteezy to actually deal any damage to either of the cores that he actually wants to kill. So I think that the Clinks pick this game, the later the game is going, is starting to become more and more difficult to actually use. It's not that, like, he's trying to make the right plays, and I think that coming, like, from behind the top and buying time was great, but like, fighting straight up is so difficult.
Oh boy, I can see the EG desperately want to use this opportunity. They know that Ravage is down a minute or so. Sentries are being popped here, so I know they've got eyes on Artur. Artur, he knows that they do, and he'll keep himself back and stick with the team. He's mid lane racks exposed. They'd love to make it a bit more even across the board, EG. Lim, he's going to get the stun off onto PPD. The Roar's there, onto the Tiny. Falling on, falling fast, they'll get the kill. Lim's down, but he'll buy back straight away, getting himself into the fight. The PL moving across onto Lion. PPD will be taken down. Still some else popping out the slight fist. Not quite enough to bring down the PL here. And they will pop themselves back. That will be that, but they managed to get the buyback out of the Tiny there, so a trade that EG will be happy with.
It's a small victory. Get some damage on the base, make the buyback happen. That means that if for whatever reason they're able to kill Limp, they can pretty much do what Complexity did to them. They can push down a set of racks, maybe even 2 with the amount of damage that they have. But the interesting part of this game is that in the bottom lane, there's actually tier 2s alive. So might actually devolve into a base race or going for tier 4s rather than trying to go for the last set of racks, because it's 40 minutes in. Teams have sufficient damage to just kill the throne at the point, so we might even see them completely forgo getting those tier 2 towers in the first place, especially considering, like you mentioned, buybacks are on cooldown for a while. But I gotta say, I was not expecting this level of play from Complexity. The beginning of the game looked a little bit shaky, but they got things together. As soon as their ultimates were all up, it was just non-stop fighting. And
The refresher,
yeah.
now. Yeah.
If the team fights weren't already hard enough for EG.
Yeah. I think it's still, as we were saying earlier, it's going to be down to if they can get someone like Pharaoh or even just Arts on the back lines trying to stop the Tide from being able to blink in, make sure that Swindle's struggling for the mana there for the double ravage. Because if he gets that off in these fights, it's going to be so destroying for EG. You know, smokes, and let's see if Complexity can find something with this one. EG towards the mid lane. coL, they're just going to make the movement into the jungle. They are smoked here. Let's see if they can catch EG out. EG, they're going to go for a smoke themselves. Yes, they are. It's going to be some smoke on smoke action.
There's actually like a hawk right over them, but unfortunately the... Oh, did it die before he saw Tiny?
They might walk into it. There's the second hawk now. The initiation, the ravage comes through. It will catch up to PVD and Samel. Caught out Samel, gets out the slide. Can he get himself out of this one? He'll throw out the round and he will be able to get himself out. At the same time, RTZ trying to man fight up against him, but it's just not working. They've lost PPD, they've lost Samel. Samel will buy back straight away. Try and get himself back in. They're looking for the kill onto Swindles. Fear held in place here. And in fact, his own unit's just going to work onto him. Fear now out of mana. Swindles healed up by the cold embrace. Chessie will take down a third one. That's 3 dead. It's a dieback on Samel, and
Good
that's
game.
Complexity have done it. They've taken the first game of the series against EG, and Swindle says more like easy, Andy.
That was a really impressive performance. Like, even if you're not a fan of Complexity, you have to watch this game and be like, okay, they definitely came to perform. Especially Limp. Like, this guy went completely nuts this game. I gotta say, like, him, and obviously there was a lot of really nice plays coming in from Seafreak as well with good initiation using the Winter Stars. Cold Embraces were on point. The way that they played this game, they knew exactly what their lineup was meant to do, and they executed, man. It was very, very impressive.
I can't wait for the rest of the series. I'm sure EG, they're not going to take that. They're going to step it up, and they're going to come back even harder in Game 2. But indeed, Game 1, their Complexity